the keeper of the secret.
Yeah, I think it's one of those 6 things, and he just goes to.
You will have radio fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, every trick. Yeah. No, I'm not sure. Okay, that's what I'm asking. I don't want to take the risk.
Yes, Esther. Well, she told me she was coming.
She's got time.
Sorry?
She's got time.
Yes, but I'm saying, would you like to step in if she doesn't? You know what it is, do you? No. It's certainly Isaiah. It's Isaiah 60, 1 to 12. 1 to 12. No, but I got I'm also still the other. It's very heavy on the right hand. Yeah, I can. Just remember to bend your knees before you pick it up. Save by the bell.
Mike, I was just looking up.
Yeah, just backstop.
My car won't start, so I've come on public transport. Bless you.
When we get John, yes. They got some kind of food up.
Yes,
I have no idea. You can ask the boss.
Right, just to remind you. Yeah, so I meant to send a colleague.
Lovely chance. Yeah, really lovely chance. So I see the thing in the diary. Go and
Mohammed was there. Oh yeah, just say. No, we didn't. Yeah, just say done. Done.
Services rendered. I can take you 15 across the road.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what you were going to say. Yeah, that's fine. Shalom, everybody. So a few cheerful faces on this beautiful day. See what we can do to wipe those smiles off your faces. Great. So, we're on page 105. Please. Eternal God, I love the house where your glory dwells. Humbly I worship before my God and Maker. May my prayer be acceptable to you, eternal God. In your great kindness, answer me with your saving truth. Please be seated. As we say the prayers of our ancestors, help us, O God, to remember their faith and devotion, their joy and suffering, and make us worthy of our heritage. May the tradition we have received live in us and pass from us to generations we shall never know, enriched by the truth we have found and the good we have done. So may we fulfill our task on earth and receive our blessing. Eternal God, school us in your teachings and make us loyal to your commandments. May we never consent to evil or surrender to temptation or self-contempt. Help us to rise above selfishness and make us responsive to the voice of conscience. Direct our every impulse to your service. Today and every day may we merit kindness and compassion in your sight, and in the sight of all who behold us, and let us know your love. Praise you, O God, for the love you gave us.
Oh,
Baruchu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamahulal b'chiyamo. Meshubach. Nefar bilshon chasidav v'amadam. Bishvachot. Smirot. Negadelcha v'namlichacha. Yachid ha'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam b'mishpachot. Always I will exalt you, my sovereign God,
and praise your name forever.
beginning each day with praise.
I will extol your name forever.
Cause us to see your greatness is beyond us,
Eternal one, forever to be praised.
declaring your works to each generation,
You bear witness to your mighty acts.
even as they speak of your splendor.
So I will meditate on your wondrous deeds.
For as they tell of your awesome might,
So I will recount your greatness.
great is your goodness which they celebrate,
As they sing of your righteousness,
holding us in your grace and compassion,
your patient and bounding love.
in your goodness, eternal God.
You have mercy on all your creatures,
Joyfully your work shall thank you,
and your faithful one shall praise you.
knowing how great is your majesty.
They proclaim your mind,
Let all humanity perceive your power.
and the glorious splendor of your image.
Mighty is your rule and everlasting.
Your reign endures in all generations.
O God, you support the falling,
And raise up all who are bowed down.
pleading, all look and hope to you.
And you give them their food in season.
Quietly you open your hand.
Satisfy needs of every living creature.
Righteous are you in all your ways.
Loving all your deeds.
So near are you to all who call upon you.
All who put upon your truth.
The desire of those who revere you, you fulfill.
You hear their cry and help them.
Unceasingly our lips shall sing God's praise.
So your name is prosper and your name forever.
Please stand. Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu, Ha'el HaMelech HaKadol VaKadosh, B'Shamayim u'Ha'aretz. Ki Lecha Na'er Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu, Shir Shvacha, Halel v'Zimra, Brachot v'Hodaot, Me'ata Ad Olam. Baruch atah Adonai, Habocher b'Sirei Zimra. And let's turn over to 135. Baruchu et Adonai Hamvorach. Please be seated. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, Sovereign of the universe, Maker of light, Creator of darkness, Author of peace and Creator of all things. In your mercy, you give light to the earth and all who live on it. And in your goodness, you renew creation continually, day by day. How manifold are your works, O God. With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory. We praise you, O God,
Creator of light.
Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Chemla Gedola V'Teirach Amalta Aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Ba'avor Avotenu Shebatchu B'cha. Bat Lamdein Chukei Chayim. Ken Tichonenu Utlamdeinu. Ten Blibenu Lavinu La'askil, Lishmoa, Lilmod Ulamed, Lishmor V'La'asot. L'kayem et kol divrei Toratecha, B'ahava. Ha'erenenu b'Toratecha, v'dabek livenu b'mitzvotecha. Kached levavenu lahava u'yira et shemecha, kivanu b'charta yachedecha b'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael b'ahava. And please stand. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol ma'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi metzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha v'vlektecha b'derech v'shochbecha uv'kumecha v'shartam le'ota yadecha v'hayu letotachot beinecha uv'tatam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha. Let's be seated. Good and beautiful and true. Sound, established and enduring are these words now and forever. True it is, eternal one, that you are sovereign God and Redeemer. As you are the God and Redeemer of our ancestors, you are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and liberator. There is no God but you. Truly you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. You redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. Song the redeemed sang to your name at the shore of the sea. With one accord they gave thanks and proclaimed your sovereignty. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'meivi Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shmo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Machai metim atah Rab lehoshia, Mashiv haruach hamorid hageshem, Mazriach hashemesh hamorid hatal, V'chalkel chayim b'chesed, V'chayim metim barachamim rabim, Somech noflim rofet cholim, Umatir asurim, Umchayim emunato l'shenei afar, Mi chamocha ba'al geburot, Umi domelach, Melech meimitim chayei umatzmiach yeshua, V'ne'eman atala chayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, V'chayei hametim. We sanctify your name on earth as in the prophet's vision. The hosts of heaven sing your praise above, for so it is written. Kavodo malei olam. Malkeinu Tofia, V'tim loch aleinu, ki mechakim anachnu lach. Loch Adonai leolam, Elohai mitzion, Ledor Adon, Hallelujah. From generation to generation we will make known your greatness. To the end of time we will proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O our God, shall never depart from our lips. We praise you, eternal God, the Holy God. Please be seated. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn in you that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy, for its peace. Our worship, help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness. Consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good. V'tzevinu chatenu, kachenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chalkenu b'toratecha, v'saveinu b'tuvecha, v'samchenu b'shuatecha, v'taher libenu la'ovtecha be'emet, v'hanchimenu Adonai Eloheinu, v'havau v'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha, v'anuchu v'ach Yisrael mekadshe shemecha, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh Shabbat. Eternal God, be gracious to your people Israel, and in your love, accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. We praise you, God, who alone worship. We give thanks that you, eternal one, are our God. As you are the God of our ancestors, you're the rock of our life, the power that shields us in every age. We thank and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. We praise you, God, source of goodness, to whom thanks are due. Sing shalom. Tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu v'yol kol Yisrael amecha, baruchenu avinu, kulanu k'echad ba'or panecha, ki va'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, Torat chayim, v'havat chesed, tzedakah uvracha v'rachamim v'chayim v'shalom, v'tov beinecha levarechen amecha Yisrael, v'kol ha'amim, v'cholei tu v'chol sha'ah b'shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Osei Shalom. Let's turn over to page 481 for our Torah service. There is none like you, eternal one, among the God's people worship. And there are no deeds like yours. Your sovereignty is everlasting. Your reign endures from age to age. Eternal one, you reign, you have reigned, you will reign forever. Eternal God, give strength to your people. Eternal God, bless your people with peace. Together, let us exalt God's name. seated, everybody. I shall be reading from the first 10 verses of Deuteronomy chapter 26, page 1117 in the Soncino, 1117 in the Soncino, and in the JPSA, right at the foot of page 313. And we see here the offering of the first fruits and the relationship between the farmer, the bearer of the fruits, and the priest. And the priest acts as enabler or facilitator in terms of the placing of his hands in what is asked of the donor. And the formula you'll recognize, of course, from many other places in the Torah, and the Haggadah is about historical empathy. And it's about humility, and it's about gratitude. And this young man next to me,
I'm not the young.
yeah, is celebrating his birthday, I think, on this very day, today. And I believe that next year will be the 50th anniversary of your bar mitzvah, or is it tonight?
No. It was your first bar mitzvah when you came to us. It was in 1999. I never had one at 13.
Should have.
Yeah, I should have. But,
Okay. So the
19 years.
I withdraw now. It means you appreciated it more.
Absolutely.
And you didn't have to get any fountain pens.
Well, I did get one. My brother bought me a huge box like this, with boxes inside boxes, and there was a Conway Stewart right in the bottom. In its original box.
Do you still have it?
I've still got it.
Do you use it?
No.
Alright, well, I know what to get you for Hanukkah. A small bottle of Conway Stewart ink. Do you have a preferred color?
Blue or black.
Alright, we'll go for black. Blue's a little passé. So I hear. Right. Okay, so in honor of the 19th anniversary of Adrian's bar mitzvah and his birthday, Adrian will read the first verse of our Torah reading. And, of course, recite the brachot.
Yes. Baruch Hu es Adonai HaMavarach. Baruch Adonai HaMavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher b'chabanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai notei ha'torah.
So when you enter the land that the Lord your God is giving you as a heritage, and you possess it and settle in it, you shall take some of every first fruit of the soil, which you harvest from the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Put it in a basket and go to the place where the Lord your God will choose to establish his name. You shall go to the priest in charge at that time and say to him, I acknowledge this day before the Lord your God that I have entered the land that the Lord swore to our fathers to assign us. The priest shall take the basket from your hand and set it down in front of the altar of the Lord your God. You shall then recite as follows before the Lord your God. My father was a fugitive Aramean. He went down to Egypt with meager numbers who sojourned there. But there he became great and very populous nation. The Egyptians dealt harshly with us and oppressed us. They imposed heavy labor upon us. We cried to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our plea and saw our plight, our misery, and our oppression. The Lord freed us from Egypt by a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm, and awesome power, and by signs and portents. He brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Wherefore I now bring the first fruits of the soil which you, O Lord, have given me. You shall leave it before the Lord your God, and bow low before the Lord your God. And you shall enjoy together with the Levite and the stranger in your midst all the bounty that the Lord your God has bestowed upon you.
Haya ki tavo el haaretz, asher Adonai Elohecha noten lecha, lechala v'rishta v'yashavta ba.
Lakachta mereshit kol pri ha'adama, asher tavi me artza, asher Adonai Elohecha natan lach. V'samta v'ateneh, v'halachta el hamakom asher yibchar Adonai Elohecha. Yishachen Shmo Sham. Uvata el hakohen asher yihiyeh bayamim hahem. V'amarta elah. Igadati hayom l'Adonai Elohecha. Ki vati el haaretz asher nishma Adonai lavotenu latet lahem. V'lakach hakohen hatemeh miyadecha. V'hinicha lifnei mizbach Adonai Elohecha. Anita v'amarta lifnei Adonai Elohecha Arami oved avi vayered mitzrayma Hagar sham bim te ma'at vayehi sham legoy gadol atzum v'aram Yaru otanu vayareu otanu hamitzri Yarnunu vayitnu aleinu Avodah kasha v'nitzak El Adonai Elohei Avotenu Vayishma Adonai et kolenu Vayar et anyenu et hamalenu et lachatzenu Yotzienu Adonai miMitzrayim Biad chazaka uvizroa netuya Uvmora gadol uvotot uvmoftim Vayienu el hamakom hazeh Vayiten lanu et haaretz hazot, eretz zavat chalav u'dvash. Ta hine heveti et reshit peri Adonai, asher natata li Adonai. Hinachto lifnei Adonai Elohecha, ishtachavita lifnei Adonai Elohecha. V'samachta b'chol hatov asher noten lach lecha Adonai Elohecha u'vetecha. Ta v'halevi Hager asher b'kirbech.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam l'tah b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai notei haTorah.
Please stand, everybody. Please be seated, everybody.
After 70 years in exile, the Israelites are finally coming home. And in our Haftarah this morning, it offers us a preview of what awaits them along the way and when they get there. And I'll be reading from Isaiah chapter 60, verses 1 to 22. And you can follow along in the Santino on page 1134, or in the JPS on page 746. So that's the Santino 1134, JPS 746. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha b'nvi'im tovim, v'rotzav v'divrechem ha'ne'morim b'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, aboher b'torah, uv'Moshe avdo, ובישראל עמו ובנביאי האמת והצדק. Arise, Jerusalem, and shine like the sun. The glory of God is shining on you. Other nations will be covered by darkness, but on you God's light will shine. The brightness of his presence will be with you. Nations will be drawn to your light, and kings to the dawning of your new day. Look around you and see what is happening. Your people are gathering to come home. Your sons will come from far away. Your daughters will be carried like children. You will see this and be filled with joy. You will tremble with excitement. The wealth of the nations will be brought to you. From across the sea, their riches will come. Great caravans of camels will come. From Midian and Ephah, they will come from Sheba, bringing gold and incense. People will tell the good news of what God has done. All the sheep of Kedar and Nebaioth will be brought to you as sacrifices and offered on the altar to please the Holy One. God will make his temple more glorious than ever. What are these ships that skim along like clouds, like doves returning home? They are ships coming from distant lands, bringing God's people home. They bring with them silver and gold to honor the name of the Lord, the Holy God of Israel, who has made all nations honor her people. God says to Jerusalem, foreigners will rebuild your walls, and their kings will serve you. In my anger I punished you, but now I will show you my favor and mercy. Day and night your gates will be open, so that the kings of the nations may bring you their wealth. But nations that do not serve you will be completely destroyed. The wood of the pine, the juniper, the cypress, and the finest wood from the forests of Lebanon will be bronze, silver and bronze, instead of iron and wood, and iron instead of stone. Your rulers will no longer oppress you. I will make them rule with justice and peace. The sounds of violence will be heard no more. Destruction will not shatter your country again. I will protect and defend you like a wall. You will praise me because I have saved you. No longer will the sun be your light by day, or the moon be your light by night. I, the Lord, will be your eternal light. The light of my glory will shine on you. Your days of grief will come to an end. God will be your eternal light, more lasting than the sun and moon. Your people will all do what is right and will possess the land forever. I planted them, I made them to reveal my greatness to all. Even your smallest and humblest family will become as great as a powerful nation. When the right time comes, I will make this happen quickly. I am your God. Al HaTorah, Ba'al HaAvodah, Ba'al HaNevi'im, Ba'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh, Shenetata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu, L'Kedusha U'Lemenucha, L'Chavod U'Letifaret, Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu, Anach Yemodin Lach, Yivarachim L'Tach, Yivarach Shimcha, V'fi Kolchai Tamid, Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Kadesh,
Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, We ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady, Queen Elizabeth, and all the royal family. For those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom, justice, tolerance, compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity. Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders, its members, and all who enter this synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us and heal those in anxiety or pain. And it's good to see you, Mimi, and hoping that your recovery continues and you go from strength to strength. And we're also very much hoping that Mike Solomon's recovery continues. And I heard a rumor that he's going back to work soon. I believe so. November. That's pretty soon, just around the corner. So hope that happens well. And let's see, Joy, who are we thinking of this week? Barry Goodman, Trudy Goodman. Trudy Goodman is 98 today. Yeah. And Jeanette Schindler, and Maureen and Alvin Miller. And would anyone like to mention the name of somebody?
Friend's mother, Hetty Ward.
Hetty Ward.
Yeah, was going through the wars.
Okay.
And Rhoda Cohn.
Yeah, Rhoda Cohn, yes, absolutely. Okay. May we all find here community, friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the house of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be free. And may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will. Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty, justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbors, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision that out of Zion shall go forth Torah and the word of God. Jerusalem. Hallelujah, et Shem Adonai ki nesgav shemo levado. Let us praise the Eternal One, whose name alone is exalted. Precepts are right. God's commandments are clear. God's doctrine is pure. God's guidance is true. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. inevitably right. Well, I know it's the High Holiday season when a few people come up to me and say, "Oh, it's your busy time, isn't it, Rabbi?" And my response is, it's busy all the time. It's just the priorities change. And if I have the energy, I say, actually, it's a little bit easier in some ways because there are fewer meetings where people take minutes and waste hours.
Not the truth.
And I suppose, in a way, it's an opportunity for me to really sink my teeth into thinking about where things might or might not be out in society, and to reflect on that, and to offer some cautious hope. And also on, that would be for Rosh Hashanah, which is more about sort of societal matters, and then on Yom Kippur, which is very much about the individual and the soul, and very much one's inner life. And so we come to the High Holy Days. Tonight is Slichot, and then a week from tomorrow, Erev Rosh Hashanah. And some of us come because, I suppose, we might enjoy the performance, a bigger choir, the sense that there's a greater number of people. We don't feel quite like we're rattling around in some cage. We feel a sense of community. We're able to celebrate that our friends are still alive, and mourn the ones that are gone. And we look around and we see that so-and-so looks okay, and so-and-so's gained weight, and so-and-so's lost weight, and more wrinkles here and there. And we look at the performance and listen to the performance of the music, and sometimes we really enjoy it, and sometimes we get a bit het up if a note is lingered on too long or a cue is missed. And sometimes the rabbi inspires us, and sometimes he's too political, and sometimes this and sometimes that. And we're all consumers, and we bring that model to it. Yeah? The Torah reading today is very much of one of enabling. So we don't come as spectators, I should hope, as somehow some vicarious consumer sort of person, but as someone who's looking for just a little bit of a key, a signal, something to grasp to actually enter full force on our own and to do some of the work as well. So it's about what's going on. The whole show, as it were, is one of enablement. And it's up to each of us to do some work. And that work is not merely about comfort. That work is not merely about chasing the myth, the great god of security, personal or societal, because it's unobtainable. And that work might be about gaining sufficient inner resources to carry on with some hope. That might be a resolve to change certain behaviors as a result of maybe a bit more self-insight. It's never too late for that. Or in the case of a few people each year, it might be the resolve to carry on with something in terms of actually, in a practical sense, bettering the world, for trying to better the world for those around us, and not merely in the tribal sense. sadly, that's really only about a few people in our community. So with all of that in mind, I just wanted to read a very short paragraph that we're very familiar with, and to think about, does it feel different this year? Should it? Should this year, this time of turmoil, certainly around us, maybe inside us, a feeling of strangeness, should the paragraph sound the same? Should it feel the same? Should it feel different? Does anyone feel challenged? And I heard the sound of a trumpet. And I asked my servant what it meant. He knew nothing, heard nothing. At the gate he stopped me and asked, "Where is the master going?" "I don't know," I said. "Just out of here, just out of here. Out of here, nothing else. It's the only way I can reach my goal." "So do you know your goal?" he asked. "Yes," I replied. "I've just told you. Out of here. That is my goal." So is that physical? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Is it with our hands? With our hearts? What's the goal? What is out? What is in? What is here? What is there? Who's this servant figure? What's the trumpet? What kind of sound does it make? What's the gate? What's the gate all about? And what's the road? What is a road? What is a path? And what are our lives? So I hope that this paragraph and the liturgy this year will work. Hope we'll work at it. And that I hope the words won't be empty at all times. I hope that for those of you that find the words challenging and at times quite empty, I hope you'll close your books and actually think your own thoughts and use those as starting points on your journey and not merely as ending points. We're all adults, and we have responsibilities in that regard too.
This morning we'd like to make our own small contribution to the celebration that's been going on this past week for what would have been the 100th birthday of Leonard Bernstein. So we're going to sing a couple of Bernstein pieces. First of all, we're going to sing a simple song from his theatre piece called Mass. Actually, everything you just said is very, very relevant to the theme that's in Mass. This piece comes right at the very beginning when the person who's going to be celebrating Mass is preparing for the service, and at that point in time God's in his heaven and all's right with the world, but things go rather wrong as other things crowd in and he comes to a point of crisis. But anyway, at this point everything is fine, and it fits in well with today's theme of joy.
Nice one. Nice one. Lots of unconscious connections here.
Yes. Sing God a simple song on a low day. Make it up as you go along on a low day. Sing like you like to
We'll do another one for the final.
Okay. I was just hesitating because I wasn't sure.
Sorry.
And let's now turn over to page 520 and let us Leinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, atet gedula li'otzerish, asher sam chalkenu yachenu shalom, v'gor leinu l'hamli. Moshav Yekaro b'shamayim ila'al, ushkinatu zo begofei meramin. Hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu patorato, yadata hayom b'hashevota elevarecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim ila'al, haaretz mitachat ein od. Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule. When all invoke your name, relinquish evil and turn to your own. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. You give us life in which joys and sorrows are commingled in accordance with your wisdom. You send death with its promise of eternal peace. And on this Shabbat we remember Miriam Bond and Esther. We wish you strength and long life as you remember your father, Caesar Arensfeld. Lindsay, we wish you strength and long life as you remember your mom, Esme Cash. And we also wish you strength as you mourn the loss of your cousin who passed away this week, Walter Cullett. And we remember Rachel Clark. And Rosemary, we wish you strength and long life as you remember your father, George Rubens. Remember Francis Schulten, Ronald Terry, and Rabbi Erlene Ballhouse. And would anyone like to mention the name of a loved one or a friend? Teach us to accept humbly, courageously, whatever burden is laid upon us. Comfort those who mourn, and let the light of faith illumine the darkness of our sorrow with the hope of immortality. Strengthen us at all times with an unfailing trust in your providence. Yitkadal yitkadash me'erah, ba'alma divrach irate v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, chaye l'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalav izman kariv imru, amen. Yehei rabba mevorach le'olam le'amei l'maya, yitzvarach yishtabach v'yitvar v'tarmam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei v'kudusha b'reichun, le'elam in kol birchata v'ashirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, gamnar Allah v'imru, amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu yod kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'brama, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu yod kol Yisrael, yod kol b'nei adam, v'imru, amen. Please be seated, everybody. And before our musicians do something else from the works of Leonard Bernstein, I'm reminded that he was talented and complex, let's say in equal measure, very complex and difficult man, but he was also someone who was deeply, deeply concerned and indeed tortured about the iniquities in the world. And his works are reminders. He was a Jew, but he was also very involved with his colleagues of other faiths, no faith. And I think we're reminded through his music, through his art, that we don't have a monopoly. How do we struggle with our pain and become more compassionate, more empathetic? And that's the struggle of any person of integrity, of, let's say, so-called religious faith or so-called secular faith.
This is from Bernstein's Digital Songs.
Joseph and Christine. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We have our Kiddush upstairs next door.
Thank you. How are you? Well, I've got one operation on Monday. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm going to be cracking it up for you.
I went to see the performance in the mass about a year ago. I went to see it, and really amazing piece. It's pretty bananas. We're like such dramatic work of like great, yeah. It's about kind of priest losing his faith in the context of the mass, dance and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Feel like but yeah.
Over 2 years.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
Oh no, I parked over there beautiful. It's fine, don't worry.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Because there's no place for you here.
No,
This is the
it's fully parked in the car park lot, so. I was going to also,
Well, hold on, when you go back again,
my friend to come because I'm not
Actually, it was a suggestion because
John, I'll see you in a minute.
Yes.
Yep. Sorry, say that again, Mimi.
because I have an operation on Monday.
Okay, let's speak to, come on through.
Oh, it's just because I'm a bit worried
Speak
about.
to Alan.
So well, as if
you know how to flatter with the old
excuse me, can we come for Kiddish?
Yeah, coming in.
I must face you an invoice next time.
That's what?
An invoice. I have an invoice.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah.